my Juicy Co-Creators, Lilou here. I'm in Kelowna in British Columbia, Canada, in this amazing wine temple here with Stephen. This is incredible to be having this conversation with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lilou. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us to this amazing pyramid. Guys, we're standing right now in a pyramid, a very unique pyramid.
Yeah.
We're on, it's called the Summerhill Pyramid Winery.
Yes.
And you make wine, and there's something very special about this wine. What's going on here?
Well,
tell us about this journey that you took, and how did you build this pyramid? We want to know everything about everything.
Oh my gosh,
this is
everything,
juicy.
everything. Okay, quickly. We set out to make the finest wine in the world. It was kind of like a dream that we had. And we knew that we had amazing growing conditions here in British Columbia. We are the northernmost desert viticulture region in the world. We have the beautiful early morning sun and the late evening sun, and very little water. We have low, rainfall. And we decided, okay, if we keep the water off, the irrigation off, we'll have these intensely flavored grapes that are absolutely perfect for making sparkling wine. And we went to France and we bought the clones that have been famous for the best sparkling wine in the world. And we planted them here in the 80s, and we set out to make the best sparkling wine in the world. And one of the things that I noticed while in Europe is that they have miles of underground Roman arch cellars there. And maybe they don't know what they have, but I felt the tingling energy in them. I felt, the different when I was in those cellars. And I set out to make something like that here, back here in British Columbia. I thought, okay, we're gonna have the best sparkling wine from the best grapes and the most pure, beautiful sunshine, clean air. We got to put them into a chamber that's, electrifyingly good. Right? So we set out to build a precision pyramid, and we built the first one here in the late 80s, and it was such a great experiment. Everyone tasted the same wine, served at the same temperature, one having been in the pyramid, one not, and it was like 99% of the people chose the pyramid aged wine, side by side in blind tasting. So we knew we were really onto something. And we went back to Egypt, studied the Great Pyramid, which, if anyone has not studied the Great Pyramid, it's such an amazing structure. It is built with technology that we don't have today. It's built with solid stones that are actually too heavy to lift with, the equipment we have today. And they have managed to fuse the stones together with such precision that we don't have that technology to do that. The entire structure is the largest man-made structure in the world, and yet it's absolutely perfectly aligned, and perfectly aligned to true north, and has no metal in it, and it's fused solid stone. Those are things that we don't have. And when I was in the Great Pyramid, whenever I go there, it's a beautiful treat to go there. You sort of transformational, you just go into that chamber and it's so strong and beautiful. We had been doing experiments with open frame pyramids, just made out of wood, but made to absolute precision and set to exact true north and using no metal. And we found that a plant would grow in a clockwise motion under the pyramid, whereas another plant just a little ways away would grow helter-skelter. We also found that if you put unhomogenized milk in the pyramid, it would turn to yogurt instead of rotting, and meat would petrify. And then we started to put in orange juice and wine and water and experiment with these different things, and we realized that it was the open frame pyramid that had the effect on the liquids conclusively. And so when we went back to Egypt the next time and we saw that all the stones there were fused, we came up with the idea, okay, we'll build a fused frame pyramid, right? As close to the Great Pyramid as possible, that would be as close as being solid rock or stone, right? And so we used very high density concrete, 55 mpgs, which is what they use for bridges and tunnels, versus 35 to 40 for a regular house. And we put in underwater construction rebar, because we didn't want any metal. And it's turned out to be an amazing structure here. We've been giving tours every day. We see over 1,000 visitors a day here. We are the most visited winery in Canada, and we've been winning awards like we have never had a year in our 20 years that we didn't win gold medals. We just walked away with the most precious medal of all, the trophy for best sparkling wine in the world in London, England. So,
and that's a combination of many things, with the
combination of many things.
Is playing a big role in it.
Yes, the main thing is we have amazing growing conditions here.
Yeah.
Being the northernmost desert viticulture region in the world, we get very intense flavors in our grapes if we keep the water off, and they're small and tasty. And then we have a wonderful winemaker, Eric, who's probably the most awarded winemaker in Canada, maybe. And he specializes in making sparkling wine. And then we have the pyramid. And of course, everything is certified organic as well, which means we never put any kind of chemicals or additives or anything. It's pure nature. So I always say you can't improve upon nature, Mother Nature.
Yeah, and obviously you love what you're doing, and people here love what they're doing, and that's a big part too.
It's a lot of part of it. Yes, thank you for mentioning that, because that's the major ingredient, is that we really care, we really nurture every little thing about the wines. And we talk to our plants. I mean, I sing to my plants.
Ah, there we go. That's it.
Yeah, I sing to my plants, and I just bless the wine, and I just feel so happy about it.
And you do some drummings in here too?
Yeah, we do a lot of drumming.
And singing and praying?
Yeah, we do African drumming. We do meditations every solstice and equinox. We have big gatherings. 150, 200 people come, and we sit and watch the seasons change, the spring equinox, and the fall equinox, and summer solstice, and so on. So it's a very, very beautiful chamber to have that experience.
But tell us about how people here received that when you did that in the 80s, because it's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this pyramid is huge. How big is it, so people can realize it?
It's 4 stories high, and it's about there's 27 houses worth of concrete just in the frame alone. I don't know how big you can say it is, but we put all our wine through here. Every drop of wine that Summerhill makes.
They're all stored here.
All stored here. We have a big cellar underneath here, which has the same kind of energy, and all the finished product comes in, and a lot of the red wines that we're making now are here in barrels. Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience. It's conclusive that the pyramid affects the flavor of the wine, but no one really has a solid, I would say, scientific answer for why. There are theories. Einstein has the theory of tachyons and tardions. He talks about tachyons traveling faster than the speed of light and tardions traveling slower than the speed of light. And in a pyramid or a Roman arch or a dome, all sacred geometry, they both travel at the same speed, which he calls negative time space. And in negative time space, you're actually traveling backwards, like reversing your car and the odometer is going backwards. So this is an interesting, when you talk about wine, you talk about aging wine, right? So the more you age it, the better it is. And here we're putting in a pyramid and it's going backwards. So that's one of the theories about a pyramid. Another one is from Dr. Valerie Hunt from UCLA. She talks about negative ions. And it's similar to Einstein's, which is tachyons and tardions. These are negative ions, the same kind of thing. And there she has proven that with falling water, or like in a shower, you get these wonderful thoughts in a shower sometimes, and then they say, oh gosh, we're just all wet, right? But really, she has actually shown with a video that an aura is normally 5 or 8 inches off of your body, and then in circumstances like being next to falling water, or in a pyramid, or near a lake that's got movement of water or a river, it goes way up. It can be 3 and 4 feet high, and she's filmed that, which makes it, oh, there really is an aura. It's not something we just talk about. You can actually see it now. So that's a modern technology thing that opens it up. Because your good question was, how did people take this 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Today, the subject of metaphysical things is wide open. We all want to experiment. We all want to know what's going on. Who the heck are we, right? Here we are in this magnificent universe, right? Who are we, right? So it's an open subject and much more, I would say, welcomed today. But at the beginning, it was, oh yeah, that Cipes, he must be, some crazy guy, right? Which I am a crazy guy. No,
and you're sure having a good time with
I
it?
love it, it's really great. The whole subject of, using sacred geometry with regard to liquids, I think is a fascinating subject. We are liquid.
Yeah.
And we know that, when the people come into this room, they don't want to leave. right? It's such a wonderful, relaxed place to be. And then my new way to do tours, I think, is really enlightening, excuse the expression, where I ask the guests to let go of all of their thoughts and just be into their, to be into themselves. Interesting aside, which do you think has more energy, measurable energy, the heart or the brain?
The heart.
Right. Most people think the brain. And it's measurably 80% here and 20% here. And yet we're governed by the brain, right?
Yeah, it's time to change that.
Time to change
do
that.
Journey.
Do the journey. Get into the heart, right? Yeah, and be receivers.
Yeah.
It's a little harder for men because we're XY, but women are YY, and you're naturally receivers. We have to get into our feminine selves and start to learn how to be receivers, because it's such a gift to have all that beautiful energy that just can flow through us. I mean, it's not just airy-fairy, stuff that, it's real. If you let go, let God, so to speak, and if you just take a deep breath, let go of all those thoughts, and be a receiver, the beautiful messages come through. Just come through you. You're like a channel. Any good musician will tell you that. Sit down and play the piano. I can sit down and play the piano and I stink at it, but if I let go, right?
We heard you earlier.
Just be a conduit.
Yes,
any musician will tell you that, or a speech giver or a writer or anyone who's in the arts. You just let go and let the spirit move through you. Let the energy move through you and be a conduit. So this is a chamber that really allows us to be a conduit more than a square box. It's interesting, square boxes are interesting to me because in nature there's nothing with a square box. And yet we humans are building square boxes like mad, right? What's up with that? I think if hospital rooms and schools and classrooms were built with sacred geometry, the children would be sitting up and learning something, right? Those boxes are kind of stifling and I don't know, they're not conducive to creativity, let's put it that way.
And to let this energy flow through us.
To letting the energy
really
flow through. Yes, it is, to be a conduit, yes. We are conduits. We all have the same gift. We are extensions of the grand spirit that is the universe. But we need to really understand that and take it to heart. And open up and receiving. Like this wine is really receiving all the best. Well, it is. And at the wine festivals, Spring Wine Festival, which is coming up soon, and the summer and the fall and the winter, we had 4 wine festivals now. We do a comparison tasting of the same wine out of the barrel, taken from the same vineyard, exact same wine, one barrel having been in the pyramid and one down in our warehouse, never being near the pyramid. And the difference is, if I can describe it, you taste the 2 wines side by side, and they both taste okay, they both taste good. Then you take a second sip, and you see that the one that wasn't in the pyramid is still good, but the one that was in the pyramid has sort of like these layers of, I don't know, complexity that weren't in the other one, and that kind of like say, wow, this is like a really fine French wine, this is like, wow, how could we get a bottle of this, right? It's like to feast on, right? Yeah. So
it takes the lid off the experience.
It does, it makes it's ideal for, it was the first thing that sparked my interest in wine in general. It made me say, wow, I see why people are, enthusiasts about wine, because you can taste these amazing little, layers of flavors, beautiful, and you can even describe them. I find that difficult. I'm not a wine writer or anything, but I love when people can say, I can taste rose petals and chocolate and
almonds,
take this one.
Pear.
How about dog dew? But that's actually a complimentary thing to say about certain varieties and certain types of wine.
So tell us, why do you have here crystals and copper?
The copper was added by Nassim Harameem. He's a wonderful scientist who's taking up where Einstein left off, featuring talks about sacred geometry and the black holes and the nature of the void and all those wonderful subjects that I adore.
Yeah.
And Nassim looked us up and said, "Oh my gosh, this is a guy who's built a sacred geometry, true, real pyramid of a real sizable, dimension, and he wanted to come here and speak to me about it. And I invited him to do one of his presentations, which was done here and filmed. So
we'll have to dig that one.
Yeah, it was sensational. It was very electric. And afterwards, he said, "You know, Steve, if you were to put copper up and down the pyramid, you can see it here, and suspend it slightly away from the pyramid, so you actually have that, you know, that open space. Like if you take your hands and put them like this, instead of like that, you'll feel a little energy in between your hands. That is the relationship of the void. So he's actually incorporated the void in here. And what he's also done is he had us go around the base and up the hips and over the apex, so that it's almost like a copper frame pyramid as well. And it was, he said, Steve, it's going to be at least 10 times more powerful, so you be careful, because it's going to be, you know, maybe you'll fry somebody, you better put a ground on it. So we dug a 5-foot hole in that corner there and put a copper rod down to ground the energy. Otherwise it could be like the Ark of the Covenant and fry somebody.
Yeah, you want to be careful with these energies too.
Yeah, he's hopefully going to guide us again, because we want to finish the outside now. We're going to do some pearlescence siding and some more copper going up the hips and around the base, and a copper capstone that's electroplated with silver and electroplated with gold. So.
And the crystals here? You have huge
yeah,
quartz
we
crystal?
have a quartz crystals that we put up in the center. It wasn't actually my idea. The scaffolding was in, and the workmen were putting the copper up, and I was offering the workmen who were from out of town lodging at my home, and they saw that crystals there in my house, and they said, "What are you doing with these, Steve?" And I said, "Well, not much. They've been here for years." He says, "Well, could I put them in the pyramid?" I said, "Sure." So it's one of the most talked about parts of the pyramid, but it wasn't my idea.
Yeah, but it's amazing like this, how you lived your life and one thing brought another, and you have put an incredible journey yourself, because you used to work for a huge consulting company, and here you are now, you know, making wine. Tell us about your story and all the synchronicities that led you to this place.
Okay, well, I was born in Manhattan. My parents were doctors, and I was born in Manhattan, and then graduated from New Rochelle High School and went out into real estate and more education. My parents were both professors and doctors, so they wanted me to get a little education here and there, and I managed to do, touch wood, tremendously well in real estate. I pioneered the idea of holding back on ripping apart wetlands and steep slopes. I couldn't, I cried when I saw what people do to the land, you know. And I started to bring in engineers and architects and planners, and I said, well, couldn't we do this in a much better way? And I was spearheading what I call plan unit developments. And I got to be fairly successful at that, and I took a lot of acreage and preserved the steep slopes and the wetlands, and still kept the same density as they normally would have been allowed. And from that, I built up a little empire. I built a little town, actually, Golden's Bridge, across from IBM and PepsiCo that I have going. I still work on that. It's still part of my my holdings. And I go back and forth to New York, but not too often, hopefully. I stay right here in paradise. And I had 4 little children, 4 boys, and my wife and I decided to come out to this magnificent place and get more into the earth and farming, and I love that part of the work that I do here. My grandmother was originally from Canada, and I always loved Canada, so I wanted to be here. And just those first 3.5 years of driving the tractor and getting down and changing the oil, and you know, getting my hands dirty, and it was a wonderful experience, you know. And in a way, I wish I was still just in the vineyard. If I hadn't had this amazing, you know, passion to make the best sparkling wine in the world, and I'm glad I did it. But it's, in a way, I enjoy being out in the field more than I like being in the office all the time. Yeah. I'm kind of stuck in the office now. That's my one regret. Otherwise, yeah, it's been a beautiful, you know, this is like a crescendo now, our 20th anniversary, Summerhill, and winning the award in London for best winery in Canada, and then
that is wow.
That's a wow for an organic
Competing,
winery.
Yeah, and competing
oh my
against
gosh.
the top countries
Huge
that have been doing this for decades.
And, it's beautiful,
Millions,
And the fact that we're certified organic, being the winner, that's like that. That's a real good boon for organics. And I'm so, to me, my most important of all missions in life is to get people more into organics. It's really unbelievable what the chemicals are doing to our planet and to our bodies. It's you can cry. If you look on our website, Summerhill website, there's a 7-minute video showing an epidemic of cancer in children living next to vineyards in France. And you see their shaved heads and mothers crying because they just lost a child. And oh my God, to me, like the whole wine industry isn't worth one child's life. No. And grapes are so thin-skinned. Those chemicals go through the grape skin, and you've got toxins in the wine. And wine is good for you. It's the healthiest thing you can have with a meal, especially, and in moderation.
In moderation.
Yeah. So why drink toxic wine, and pollute the earth and the water? And
organic wine. It's time for organic wine.
It's time for organic wine. We're all shifting to organic foods. Thank goodness. We're getting back to that. The supermarkets now have, all have good organic sections. But organic wine doesn't seem to be on people's lips or minds.
But we still think that the quality is not as good.
And we think it's not as good, which is the opposite, because if you have organic, then you can't add this and you can't add that, and you can't put in sugar and you can't put in water, you can't put any chemicals in. It's Mother Nature. And there's an old saying, you can't improve upon Mother Nature, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I really think.
But it's really beautiful. Your mission beyond, what you're just saying and help in saying to people, drink organic or eat organic.
Yes.
You're really awakening people.
Well,
because
it is.
Just this process that we went through coming in the pyramid that you described earlier was phenomenal. And we sat here in circle around a candle, and we all stayed for a good minute.
Yes.
2 minutes
in
of meditation in silence.
Yes.
We're used to this because these are part of our daily practices.
Right.
But for people just coming here to a winery, I found that phenomenal.
It's a great thing to be able to do this. Yeah, take the general public and have them sit in silence for a full 2 minutes. It's a long time.
It's a long time when you're not used to that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked them to close their eyes and focus on their breath, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really a nice experience for them to remember.
Yeah.
But going back to the organics, we are the receivers. This is the vessel that the spirit travels through. If we're going to eat chemicals all day long, what are we doing to these precious vessels, right? We have to clean them up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you're not living inside a pyramid.
Oh golly, if I lived in a pyramid, I would
elevate, transform, disappear.
Yeah, I have no grounding,
No.
I wouldn't be grounded.
No.
I tried to sleep in it a few times, and I came away totally refreshed, have a happy day the next day, but hardly can sleep. Just hard to get into a sleeping mode because it's just very stimulating for me.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it's very clearing. Like the mind is clear, and like the neurons have more space in between. It's like it expands everything.
It's actually, you used the right word, clear. It's a clarifier.
Yeah.
Any sacred geometry chamber clarifies the liquids. If you put a wine in here with a flaw, it'll accentuate the flaw. If you put wine with good qualities in it that's grown in this beautiful, northern territory, it just gets better, that's all. It just makes, and we don't claim that the pyramid makes it better, it's just that it's a clarification,
So what would you say, what is for you living a juicy life?
For me, living a juicy life is to be able to express all of you, right? All of you, not to hold back, not to be reserved because you're waiting for someone else to judge you. We've got to all get rid of that judgment altogether. Right? That's when we shine. Let's shine. Wake up, let's shine here. Right? Forget about judgment. Who cares? Right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful moment.
You're so welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to have to come back again because there's a lot of project that you have outside. And with the Japanese tea house and garden.
Is this shown in the U.S. by any chance?
This in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, across the U.S. and the world.
Can I say something about the U.S.?
Oh yes.
I'm very excited about the U.S. because I'm from New York. I've been here 25 years, and I totally adore Canada. All my boys are becoming Canadians, and I'm a Canadian. But I know what the people in the U.S. really want, and they love pristine Canadian beer. They love anything that's made in Canada. They like Canada. They embrace Canada. To them, it's kind of a dream. And this wine that we just finally got across the border for the first time in 20 years, we have 5 wines going into the States now. It's just landed in our California warehouse, and it can be ordered on our website. It has all of it's certified organic. There's a red Pinot Noir. There's a white Pinot Gris. There's a sparkling, which is a Pinot Noir sparkling, and there are 2 ice wines, red and a white. Just 5 wines, and we've priced them competitively. And they're all gold medal winning wines. The sparkling wine just won a gold medal in San Francisco. Every bottle has a hand-painted painting from, not individual of course, but Robert Bateman, renowned artist, known all over the world. He is the national treasure artist of Canada. He's 80 years old now, and he has never put his artwork on any commercial product ever, and he loves Summerhill. He loves coming here. He brings his entourage here. He makes his gifts to all his children that go in the art contests every year. And he's from Salt Spring Island, so you're on the way down there, so you'll get to see maybe Mr. Bateman. And
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
There we go. That's our next interview.
I can get you an interview with Mr. Bateman. And for every bottle we sell, $1 goes to his charity to get the children away from their TV sets and their computers and out into nature. What a beautiful thing that is.
Yes.
Because who is our future is our children, right? And they're stuck on watching the screen. They've got to get out into nature now. And this is, to me, a very important thing to support. So all of the wine going into the States, the 5 bottles, each go $1 a bottle goes to helping the children get into nature. So I think that's a really good thing. Wonderful. So yeah, for the first time, we're offering wine in the U.S.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be in Whole Foods too. U.S. is.
Whole Foods is a wonderful place to be. Yeah, we probably should go there, but right now you can order them online. Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. Some juicy wine.
Juicy wine, indeed.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Much love, my beautiful co-creators. Bye-bye. Next time in Salt Spring Island.
Welcome everyone to the Summerhill Pyramid. We've been initiating a new way of introducing the pyramid's energy, if you will, to our groups by asking them to please turn off your cell phones and to go within, so to speak. This chamber is a wonderful precise geometry chamber that enhances our flow of electricity, if you will. We are electrical in nature. We are sending signals through our spinal cord to every cell in our body through electricity. And when you enter this pyramid, it's an enhanced state. It's an enhanced place to be. But you won't notice it unless you get rid of all of the thoughts, so to speak, that are going on all the time. And the best way to do that, I've found, is to go into sort of like a silence. We won't say anything, and we'll sit quietly for the first minute or minute and a half without any words, just being, if you will. And what I do is I focus on the breath, because as you are hearing yourself breathe, you can't think of, Aunt Louise and Uncle Louie coming over. So this is a good experiment to go within. and it's very conducive to meditation and to being within ourselves. So with that, I ask for everyone to let go of their worldly cares and worldly things about them and their cell phones and all that, and leave that behind. We're going to go up quietly and take a seat, sit with our feet on the floor, and focus on our breathing for the first minute and a half. Up until this kakuli, as far as I know, the original people did not allow any visitors into their sacred spaces. Yeah. This is the first time that they've honored us, us being the European settlers, with full ability to come in and enjoy the sacred fire. But we must also know that the sacred fire represents the bridge between this world and the world beyond. And that has to be respected in the way that we come in and with reverence. Yeah. We come in and we go around the fire in a clockwise way, and we don't have idle talk, and we don't have alcohol or any beverages. Actually, we don't smoke in there. We don't tell jokes in there. No, and nothing that doesn't have reverence to the grandmothers and the grandfathers, is what we call them, who are speaking from the other side through the fire.
It's a sacred place.
It's a very sacred place. It's also the winter home for the peoples here. They were nomadic in the summer, and in the winter they would have what they call a pit house or kakuli. And this is a little bit Hollywood size. They were quite a bit smaller. So yeah, if you'd like to go in, we'll follow you.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to ask if I can.
Yes.
No?
Yes, ask the grandmothers and grandfathers if it's okay to enter their sacred space. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Can I film in here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I like how it feels like there's some spirits here.
Oh yeah.
That are here right now.
Beautiful. Well, actually, the messages that we get are very much from Makwala. It's such a beautiful experience. In fact, I have a video that I would like to share with you with the family's sanction about the dedication. It's such a magnificent video.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that would be a
great.
beautiful YouTube. Yeah, because it honors Makwala, who, even though he was only 18 years old, he was every bit a man. He had spent a little time in a penitentiary for having a fight where he hurt the young man that he fought with a little too much, and they thought that it was aggressive. And we don't know the real story, whether it was true or not, but the experience of being in a penitentiary was, I think, made him very much a real man in a way.
Yeah.
He got to go within, I call it.
Yeah.
really see what this life was all about. Right? And he came out so wise that he was like, I don't know how you could say it was like an old man in a young man's body. It was beautiful. And he was also extremely good looking and well built, which made him all the more listened to and, respected. So yeah, it's a beautiful subject. And if you see his video about the dedication, I think you might.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I'll play it for you.
So you have ceremonies here, or you have
the way we do
get together?
Yeah, we do drumming and dancing here.
Oh, that's
African
here.
drumming and dancing. We're not allowed to have any ceremonies here without permission from the First Nation. And we have done ceremonies, but it's usually we heat up those special rocks till they're red hot, and then we put them into the sweat house, which is going to be on the other side of the bridge. And then we have a sweat. But that has to be with their guidance and their permission.
Oh, good.
We're not allowed to have any ceremonies without them sanctioning it. a wonderful tourist attraction for people who don't remember or have never seen how the people lived for thousands of years without electricity or without heat. These buildings heat up really quickly
Yeah.
with a small fire.
And it wasn't as big as that, I guess.
Much smaller, yeah. This is, they say,
It's
Hollywood
huge,
size. We
yeah, I
could
can
take
understand
a
now.
busload, yeah. 50, 60 people can come in at a time. And they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a time for a prayer, huh?
It's a time for, I wouldn't say prayer, I would
let
say
go?
more like listening and being and stillness and being one with the grandmothers and grandfathers, one with those on the other side. And if we're listening, we get messages from them. They will tell us, you know, when we can move ahead and when to not do anything.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's a very good discipline in our.
I want to thank them.
Thank the First Nations for allowing us to participate in this beautiful ceremony,
Thank
a
you.
beautiful tradition that they have had for thousands of years.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing all the ancestral knowledge back to the planet. Now we're open to it and ready to receive it.
Ready to receive
Thank
it.
you for showing us the way, and your guidance is very much needed right now.
Yes. This stream goes year-round. It has a wonderful sound to it.
Uh-huh.
What we do is we build the earth. We build the sweat lodge
Yeah.
right here. It's the fire pit, and then we carry the hot rocks from that fire, put them in here, and then everyone lays down on the green mats, and it gets very hot in there, like unbearably hot, and that's a wonderful opportunity to sweat it out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 4 rounds and so on. Then beyond this point, in this little area, we have planned a Japanese experience. Let's say something that you'd have to go to Japan to have.
Oh, what is that?
Well, it's entering a temple. This will be the gate right here.
Uh-huh.
And once you go through the gate, then we have up in that wooded area way up on top, we'll have a shrine that you have to walk up to and pay your respects to Buddha and all the life force energy. And then up this way, right in that clearing up there, we envision putting a real Japanese tea house with the tradition of serving tea in a certain way that's ceremonial.
Oh, yeah.
And another little bridge in here.
How
So
fun is this?
just to sit here in this beautiful place, it's totally magical with the waterfalls. And if you
Yeah.
follow that stream, if you hop across and follow this stream, you'll see lots of waterfalls. You can really get an idea how beautiful it could be here.
Special noise sound.
Such a wonderful sound, yeah.